I have distinguished 34 obstacles that usually get in the way of somebody dating effectively and finding healthy, lasting love. And so the first thing I have you do is assess if you're even ready to embark upon it. Because if you are ready, then you're gonna go through a bunch of work. And I have my website, lauriegerber.com. The first thing you'll see pop up at the top is a quiz. It's a 5-minute quiz, and it seeks to assess which of these 34 obstacles might be yours. Nobody has all 34. I've never met anyone who has none of them.
Welcome to the 12-Minute Talks podcast presented by MALM Life and Health Insurance Agency. Learn actionable insights from our guests in just 12 minutes. Each episode features business owners, entrepreneurs, and industry experts who share their experiences and strategies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast. I'm excited to have with us today a dating coach named Laurie Gerber from Laurie Gerber Coaching, where she helps people of all ages, from teenagers all the way up to people in their 80s, with love and dating. So, Laurie, thank you so much for being on today.
Great to be here. Love the topic.
Yes, well, it's definitely a topic you're the expert on. So before we get into it, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about how you got started in this field?
Sure. I hired a coach about 20 years ago, and it completely changed my life, top to bottom. And I came for career coaching actually, but my coach took one look at my love life and said I was a disaster. And that if I wanted to lose my marriage, I could keep going on as I was, or if I wanted to save my marriage, I could take some coaching on relationships first. I decided to save my marriage. I took some coaching on relationships. I'm now 32 years with my husband, stronger than ever, better than ever, but we at the time were near divorce. So that was very profound. It made me want to do this for a living. So I started coaching all types of things with the company that I used for my coaching. And because I was having a successful relationship, I became the love, relationship, and dating coach, where I got my 10,000 hours helping other people find and sustain healthy love. And here I am today.
Okay, so good. So you were able to turn something that could have been, not so good, getting a divorce, to totally transitioning your career. So did you mention that you were a career coach before transitioning to a love coach?
Yeah,
Is that
well, I fell in love with the methodology, and the methodology I use is called the Handel method. And it teaches something called the 3 H's, which is the head, the heart, and the hoo-ha, meaning what works for your head, what works for your heart, and what turns you on. And that was applied to all areas of my life. So I was really in love with the methodology. So I became a coach for that company teaching that method. But as I developed in my career, I came to specialize in love, dating, and relationships. Though I still coach all areas of life. That's kind of that's what's most fun for me at this time.
okay? Makes sense. So that's your niche, let's say, or like what you really enjoy. Not to say that you don't like doing the other types of coaching, right? And
Exactly.
yeah, so it's interesting. Do you work with a specific group of people, or just people in general looking for love? Tell us a little bit more about that.
The truth is that privately, I work with every type of human, and I've worked with as young as teenagers to as old as people in their 80s. The common denominator is you want your subconscious thoughts to become clear to you so that you know what's blocking you from having you what you want. So what all my clients have in common is they want to tell the truth about their life. They want to see things they didn't see before. They want to change. They really are ready to and want to change. I particularly like perimenopausal and menopausal women. I just happen, maybe because I'm one. I particularly like that group of people because usually when they're looking for love, it's with this kind of like, I'm no longer under pressure. I can really do what I need to do. Many of them have been working hard and raising kids for a bunch of decades and kind of ready to really just do something for themselves. So that's a niche within a niche that I really enjoy.
Okay, so the 50 plus would be a niche within a niche. I would imagine that's
Yes. Yes,
perimenopause,
exactly.
right? Or maybe
Yeah.
younger. I don't know, but
40,
yeah,
yeah, 40, 45, depends.
around
I'm not
there.
gonna turn anyone away who wants to work hard at being
Right,
happy.
right. Perfect. And so is there any tips you would say for somebody maybe at that stage in their life of perimenopause, since you said that's a niche within a niche you like working in, for starting to date maybe after a relationship, or you know, dating is just uh
Yeah,
can be difficult at any age, right?
totally.
Any tips, maybe
Oh,
top three tips
more
here?
more than we have time for in 12 minutes, but I have distinguished 34 obstacles that usually get in the way of somebody dating effectively and finding healthy, lasting love. And so the first thing I have you do is assess if you're even ready to embark upon it. Because if you are ready, then you're gonna go through a bunch of work. And I have right, my website, lauriegerber.com. The first thing you'll see pop up at the top is a quiz. It's a 5-minute quiz, and it seeks to assess which of these 34 obstacles might be yours. Nobody has all 34. I've never met anyone who has none of them, so the answer, the top three things I would have you do depends on who you are and what's in your way. But if I'm going to if I'm going to give 3 bits of advice, I'd say go take that quiz. And at the end, see, I give you a score 0 to 80, 0 to 100 pops up on the screen when you're done with it. So you can kind of see it's just like school. If you got 100, you're done with your obstacles. If you got a 20, yeah, you have some obstacles. You can kind of do the math. And so the first thing is assess how close you are. Then assess, this is my second bit of advice, do you believe in it? Do you want it? Because if you don't believe it and you don't want it, you're not going to be willing to do the work that it takes to actually do it. And, fairy tales teach us it's supposed to be easy, but we know it's not easy to find lasting, healthy love. If it was, everyone would be doing it, and they're not. So number one, do the quiz, see if you're, how ready you are. Number two, assess how much you believe in it. And number three, assess and really check in how much you want it. And if you determine that you want it, start to think about what you want, because that's where my work picks up, is sort of starting to envision what you want, because that why and that vision and that dream has to be so strong that it can go up against all the negative thoughts that society feeds us and our past feeds us and our parent, all the negative stuff we've got going on that works against it.
So awesome. So what I gathered from that was take your 5-minute quiz. Says it's 5 minutes. I don't know. 34 obstacles. That sounds like might take longer, but okay, 5 minutes. And then at least, start doing it, right?
Try it. I
Um,
mean, I'm not solving it all in 5 minutes. I'm just assessing how much work you've already done.
exactly, exactly. So take the quiz, figure out, what your beliefs are there, and then of course what you want. And then to see, if you guys would be a good fit. And so, what would you say is something that sets you apart from other people in your industry? Because I find there's coaches for everything, like I mentioned in my
And
introduction. But what makes you different from others?
well, I have thought a lot about this actually, because I am always seeking the next good thing, but I've been teaching this method for 20 years. So I often ask myself, like, why? Why? Why am I sticking with this? The answer is it is a heart, head, body approach. And whereas I find just body approaches or just heart approaches or just head approaches helpful, useful, interesting, fun, some modalities or practitioners do 2 out of the 3. For me, you need all 3 in order to get a real transformation that's indelible. In other words, I have to get your heart to change. I have to get how you feel to change. I have to get your vision to be the leader. I have to argue with your thoughts. I have to get your mind on board with your heart. I have to get these two aligned. And then I have to get your body to follow what your heart knows is right and what your head planned to do. Or else it doesn't matter how good your heart and your head are. If your body doesn't follow, you're not going to get the results and sustain the results. So that is a 3-pronged approach. All are necessary. If you leave one out, the job does not get done or does not stick. And that's something I'm uniquely qualified to do. And the method is uniquely based upon.
So it's the Laurie Gerber method of coaching, I guess.
It's actually the Handel method, which I'm
Okay,
licensed to teach. Yeah, and it's the Handel method, and that's been taught at MIT and Stanford. It's a very well codified methodology that's been taught in
yeah.
institutes of higher learning and companies and with individuals. So I did not make it up. I just used it and have taught it over and over and over again, and
Right.
I know that it works. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it's the one that you mentioned earlier, right? The
Yes.
Who, how, ha, something. What was it?
And the hoo-ha, I like that. This the 3 H's. This is the Handel method's 3 H's, the head, the heart, and the hoo-ha. What's practical and smart, what feels good, and what turns you on. And that, as you know, that can obviously be applied in love, but it can also be applied to looking for a job, looking for a home, hiring someone, all those are the voters and they're all important.
Totally makes sense, right? Like they say, follow your gut, right? But it's like the same thing. If your brain and your heart are in alignment, it's probably not the right choice to make, right? Um, and so, what is your opinion on like this loneliness epidemic that they say we have in
Mm,
society? And
yeah.
have you seen that affecting dating
Mm,
in general?
yeah. Yeah, I think people feel more lonely in dating because I mean, pandemics aside, we've become so virtual, we've become so immersed in technology, dependent upon technology, and technology is great. Technology is actually what makes you able to see hundreds and hundreds of single people online every single day. But it's also a little bit alienating because it's a little bit dehumanizing. So whereas I think it's a great advantage that you have all of these choices and access to all these opportunities to meet people, it's also dehumanizing and can feel very lonely to date only online. So I definitely coach my clients to do a mixture of in real life and online in order to mitigate that.
So, in other words, people have to leave their house to meet other humans. Who would have
Yeah,
thought? You know,
eventually, yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, Lori, how can somebody who would like to know more about your services get in touch with you?
LaurieGerber.com. LAURIEGERBER, like the baby food.com. And there's that free quiz, there's a free webinar, there's all kinds of really good free resources and tools there. And then if you want to work with me privately or join my group, there's information about that as well.
Fantastic. And like always, I will have all of the links down below so anybody listening or watching this episode can click on the links and easily learn more about our guest today. And I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name's Lorena Tomasini. And besides being the host of the 12 Minute Talks podcast, I'm also the owner of Mom Life and Health Insurance Agency, where we help families and businesses with their financial protection needs. And Lori, it's been great having you today on the show. I do have one last question for you. What would you say, besides, of course, your own work, would be a good book or resource that somebody can uh, get into to learn a little bit more about themselves in dating in
You know
general?
what? I literally just read a friend of mine whose name is Karen Salmonson, who is also in the self-help space. I don't even know if her book is out yet. It's called The To Die For Life. I believe that's what it's called. I hope I'm saying it right. Anyway, Karen Salmonson. It's a book about living your life with the knowledge that you're going to die. And I did just read it before it came out. She sent me a galley copy and it was my privilege to find real inspiration. And I'm a personal growth junkie, so I think I know everything about everything, but it still made me think and it still made me make new lists and have new ideas, and it's just funny and fun to read. So I can give that
Awesome.
a shout out.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll see if we have a link for that. I'll put it as well in the show notes.
Right. Yeah.
That's great. Well, Lori, thank you so much for being on today. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, we did it.
We did it, I
Thank you.
think, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the 12 Minute Talks podcast, presented by MALM Life and Health Insurance Agency. If you enjoyed today's conversation, remember to share and subscribe. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember to make it a great day.